Hello there my Jedi and Sith friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your friend, and your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. The Mandalorian and Grogu was just showcased at CinemaCon. A public final trailer just dropped online, and for those in attendance, they got to see the first 20 minutes of the film. In addition to this, we have some behind the scenes details that are gonna blow your freaking mind. Contrary to the leaks, there might be some big cameos. That's right, I thought there were none. The leakers and reliable scoopers said, don't expect anything big like Boba Fett or Luke. The movie is a couple of Mando missions adapted for the big screen. But there is something they forgot. Flashbacks. Oh yes, we love a good flashback. Whether it's Grogu's flashbacks to Order 66, or what the Ahsoka show did, a well-placed retrospective can be an awesome bit of fanfare, and I think we're about to get a pretty massive one. So even though I've been talking about this movie pretty much since it was first announced, this is probably my biggest video on the subject to date. There is so much to break down. So we're gonna combine details from the trailer and the first 20-minute preview. One of the biggest questions Star Wars fans have been dying to know the answer to is, does the Mandalorian and Grogu have an opening crawl? It seems as though the answer is yes, but not in the most traditional sense. It doesn't have the yellow text hurling away from us, but instead it's more like Skeleton Crew and Solo. It's just going to be some opening credits, just a little bit of text setting the scene. And according to those in attendance at CinemaCon, the opening crawl talks about Mando and Grogu hunting down remnants, and they confirm the opening scene takes place on the Ice Planet. A warlord that we know from the third season, who also appears in some of the trailers, is raising taxes on a local system. Apparently the action and the ass-kicking starts from the very first moment, and on their missions, the person who always flies in to rescue them is Zeb Orrelios. So the missions that we see later on in the film for the likes of Rotta, Johnny Coyne's character, are by no means Mando's first, since Season 3 came to an end. He's been a mercenary for quite some time, become familiar with the Adelphi Rangers, so maybe a little bit of time has passed. Now the trailers have shown us Colonel Ward's deck of cards, a bad guy on each one, a different remnant. Mando is happy to track them down, but there is one whose identity eludes them, a mysterious warlord known as Coyne, and to figure out who he is, Mando has to go to Nal Hutta. He's got to take on a job for the Hutt twins, Jabba's cousins who first appeared in Book of Boba Fett, and his job is to rescue Rotta, Jabba's son, from a rival syndicate. I initially thought Rotta might be against the twins, maybe there's a family feud for inheritance, but it turns out they're on the same side. Mando is reluctant at first, but Colonel Ward eventually convinces him by offering him a new Razor Crest, one to replace his old one that was destroyed by Moff Gideon. And this is where the movie really begins. It sounds like it was a very fun opening to the film. The order of these scenes and some of these details are very different to what I expected, but honestly, that's for the best. I want to be surprised by this film, and I want to be blown away. But with this context, let's talk about the final trailer itself. And it is worth stating right off the bat that the majority of this footage is already familiar to us. Lucasfilm is keeping so much of this film a secret, and there must be a reason for it. And you know what? I've criticized the marketing in the past, but now I'm like, okay fine. If this movie ends up being so much more than we theorized, then I think that's for the best. And most of the footage for this trailer, and also the first two, take place in the first half of the movie. So the trailer opens with Sigourney Weaver as Colonel Ward doing a voiceover. She says, we've all heard stories of the Mandalorian bounty hunter and a child. And while the line is very expository, I do think it serves a purpose. She might be saying this in the context of the New Republic, because now that Din is working with the Adelphi Rangers, with Zeb, with Carson Tava, with Colonel Ward, and considering his run-ins with the New Republic in the first 3 seasons and Book of Boba Fett, he might have become something of a legend within the ranks of the New Republic. And so, as a narrator of sorts, Ward is hyping both of them up. We then see a close-up shot of Grogu meditating on Nal Hutta, and in the past, I've spoken about how this is meant to evoke Yoda on Dagobah. Well, this time, my friends, they've gone explicit with this connection, in literally giving us Yoda's theme from The Empire Strikes Back. We also later hear the Imperial March and the Force theme, but I severely doubt they're going to be in the final film. Ludwig Göransson's score is going to be unique to this movie, and the only bits of fanfare, the only bits of recycled themes are going to be from the TV show. And speaking of Grogu, a major motif in this trailer is passing down knowledge from father to son. I think this movie is going to do so much in terms of Grogu's personal evolution. Listen to some of the language being used. They're preparing him to be on his own, and a major question that logically follows from this is, are they preparing him for Din Djarin's death? I doubt they would kill him off in a family-friendly film like this, but in some frames, that is literally what's being implied, that Grogu has to learn to fend for himself. And in this way we hear Din Djarin recite a teaching he learnt in the covert. He says the old protects the young, and then the young protects the old. And I have a hunch that at some point, Grogu is going to have to force heal Din. Now in terms of some of the other new footage, we finally get a proper look at the real stars of the movie. The Anzellans, and of course, their ship, which joins the New Republic to presumably rescue Din on Al-Hutta, because we do get confirmation that at some point in the film, the two do get split up. It's also kind of hilarious and a callback to season 3, that the Anzellans are not too happy to see Grogu at first. They remember the no squeezy moment, and they really don't want another hug. I think the visual comedy in this film is going to be great, and a huge shout out to Shirley Henderson, who does the voice of the Anzellans. She's brilliant. She was also Moaning Myrtle in the Harry Potter franchise. Did you know that?
No, it's crazy!
We also get some new shots of Zeb, and our first proper look at Colonel Ward as an X-Wing pilot. She was once part of the Rebel Alliance, and knew the likes of Holdo and Leia. It also has to be said that Embo looks pretty badass. But now, my friends, we have to talk about a behind-the-scenes detail that changes everything we assumed about this film. A group of Disney-approved influencers got invited to a Jon Favreau-led behind-the-scenes tour, and they got to see some of the animatronics and alien models that were used across the Mandoverse. And one of them appeared to be a baby version of Rotta, similar to the way he appeared in the Clone Wars movie, but this time an actual sculpt. And Lucasfilm was asked, is this just a random baby Huttlet? And they replied, no, it is in fact Rotta for the brand new film. This one was hand-painted by Jon Favreau himself. It could have just been used as reference, it might just be something he made for fun, because he's a big fan of the Hutts, but he did something similar with Gamorrean guards, and they ended up showing up in Mando. So you never know, this could be very important. And this could suggest the Mandalorian and Grogu is giving us Clone Wars flashbacks. Imagine seeing Anakin and Ahsoka handing Rotta back to his dad. And if true, it would be Hayden and Ariana Greenblatt. We also have a couple of tidbits from Jon Favreau himself. He confirms he doesn't know if there's going to be any more Mando after this film is done. And as we know, guys, there's a very good chance this is his final Star Wars project. If the box office isn't good, there isn't going to be a sequel, and there is also a chance there is no Mando Season 4. The way Jon is talking, it really sounds as though this could be it. This is really, really it. And then he confirms the idea for a Mando movie was spoken about for years. And Jon kind of alludes to the fact that originally, this isn't what he thought the Mando movie would look like. Like all of us, he thought it was going to be Filoni's film, and further down the line. But there you have it, my friends. A final trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu and some crucial new information. How are you feeling about it? Are you excited? Are you going to go see it opening day? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you, always.